Zoop! You see this guy right here? It's an F. A capital... Wait, I already used that opener? Well, okay, how about everyone loves Friday, but what about Faraday? Yeah, okay, I had a really hard time making an intro to this video, but it's about Michael Faraday, the father of electricity, or at least one of them. Turns out that electricity has like 3 fathers. Yeah, I'm not really sure how that works. Faraday didn't start out like most European scientists. He wasn't the son of an aristocrat, and his family had no money. I mean, literally no money. His family was so poor that they managed to qualify for England's welfare program, which was not easy to do in 1791. The family of 6 received a single loaf of bread each week. I mean, I don't even know how long you can be poor with a welfare system like that. Despite this generous government aid, Faraday dropped out of school at age 13 to work and support his family. He soon became employed as an apprentice bookbinder, and to everyone's surprise, he not only bound the books, he also started to read them. And not just the fun Brandon Sanderson ones either, but books like Conversations of Chemistry and The Improvement of a Mind. As Faraday grew older, he even started to replicate some of the experiments he read about. When Faraday was 21, a wealthy patron of the bookshop noticed his curiosity about chemistry, and the patron just so happened to have an extra ticket to attend a lecture by England's most famous chemist, Humphrey Davy. So he invited Faraday along. Given this opportunity to rub shoulders with the scientists in the big leagues, Faraday jumped at the chance to go, and just like anyone would, he took copious notes during the lecture. When he got home, he again did what anyone else would and wrote a 300-page book based on his notes, bound it himself, he was a bookbinder, and then sent it off to Davy along with a job application. Davy was impressed with the professional binding of the book and wanted to meet the young man who could make such a volume. Faraday knew all of his years of bookbinding had finally paid off. Just kidding. Davy was impressed that some kid with no formal education could not only understand a chemistry lecture, but also expound on it. He hired Faraday as a lab assistant the following year. I guess the lesson to learn here is if you want to stand out in a job interview, just show off the oversized textbook you wrote on their most recent work. Faraday proved himself to be capable of working with the real scientists. Now, I would like to point out that this wasn't just a career change for Faraday, this was also a class change. Poor boys weren't supposed to be well educated, and they certainly weren't supposed to become researchers at one of the most prestigious institutions in all of England, especially when there are qualified graduates from places like Oxford and Cambridge knocking at the door. Despite the social obstacles, Davy and Faraday formed a strong relationship, and as Faraday continued to level up his science skills, Davy began to mention his name in scientific publications. In 1820, Davy thought it might be possible to make motion by using an electric current. This would have been revolutionary at the time, but he never made much progress before giving up on the project. The following year, Faraday, no longer a lab assistant, but a recognized scientist himself, revisited the theory and actually did succeed in creating motion from electricity. Lo and behold, it was revolutionary. Mostly because before this discovery, electricity was useful for exactly 2 things: performing electrolysis to separate water into oxygen and hydrogen, and building up enough static electricity to zap your friends at your upper-class fancy pants dinner parties. That's it. But now, if electricity can make things move, you might be able to make something like, I don't know, an electric motor, an electric horse, an electric toothbrush? Now, if only there was a reliable way to generate it. The ability to turn electricity into motion made Faraday an overnight sensation among other academics across Europe. However, Davy did not feel that enough credit was given to him for his contributions to the project, and even accused Faraday of stealing his idea. Now that's not very cool of you, Davy. The rift between mentor and pupil continued to widen when Davy tried to block Faraday's appointment to the Royal Society, which was sort of an honor society for accredited scientists. All of this drama would cause Faraday to shy away from Davy and the entire field of electricity, instead focusing his research on chemistry. Historians believe that Davy was envious of the scientist his former assistant was becoming, and he didn't want to be outshined by Faraday. Which is kind of ironic because now it is frequently joked that Davy's greatest discovery was Michael Faraday. Another sad reminder that academia is a dog-eat-dog world. Once Davy kicked the bucket in 1829, Faraday wasted no time in putting together a series of experiments that would again revolutionize the field of electricity. This time by uncovering the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction, which does have a very impressive and technical sounding name, but basically it just means that if you move a magnet by a wire, electricity will flow through the wire. Which does sound simple, but it has vast implications, such as forming the foundation for how we provide electricity to the entire world. Every single power plant uses a fuel, whether it's coal, natural gas, nuclear fission, or the wind, to turn a copper coil around a magnet. And that is how we make electricity. So to sum up, because of Faraday's work, we know how to turn electricity into motion, and we know how to turn motion into electricity. Faraday's work also went well beyond his advances in electricity and magnetism. He also spent considerable amounts of time with public projects. These included investigating coal mine disasters, creating optical glass for lighthouses, lobbying for the cleaning of the Thames River, advocating for people to like this video, and making the bottom of sea vessels more corrosion resistant. It might surprise you to hear that despite Faraday's success, most of his theories were met with stiff resistance from his contemporaries. I mean, would they really be contemporaries if they liked his stuff? This was mainly because Faraday never actually learned math beyond simple algebra, and so he was never able to summarize the results of his experiments mathematically. That would be the work of another man, James Clerk Maxwell. Faraday's health would cause him to retire in 1858, and he would live long enough to see electricity-enabled telegraphs, arc lamps, and electric stoves. For his scientific contributions, Faraday was offered a burial plot next to Sir Isaac Newton's. Though he refused, you can still find a plaque dedicated in his name by Newton's grave. If you are looking forward to more videos about famous scientists and their advancements, please subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments if you would like me to continue the story with James Clerk Maxwell, who made the Maxwell equations, Copernicus, who created the heliocentric model of the solar system, or Euler, perhaps the most unsung mathematician of all time.